Okay, so you're about to listen to episode one of Raid Buff, but we were walking outside at night. There's a lot of cars going by, and we weren't checking the audio as well as we should have. So it's not going to sound that great. But we still, I mean, you can listen to it if you want to. We're releasing it, obviously, but for episode two, that's why we're releasing it pretty much right away uh, after episode one because we recognize there's some failings in the recording of episode one. Does that sound right?
Yep, that's about right. So I think it's still a good episode. Got good content. So if you do listen to it, enjoy.
Awesome.
Others, I speak with a passion that goes unheard. They obey you because you are a leader, and perhaps some with others, I speak with a passion that goes unheard.
We're on a walk for our first podcast because that is the only way that we could record a podcast. That's the only way that I could.
Podcast, exercise and talk.
It's the only way that I could get any exercise.
That's kind of interesting.
Interesting is one way to describe it. Okay, well, so this is Raid Buff,
Raid Buff.
inaugural episode
That's the name of our podcast.
podcast because we play WoW.
Husband and wife.
We've always played WoW.
Indeed. I didn't realize it, but WoW's kind of been in my life basically since middle school.
Majority of life now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So, and Raid Buff, if you don't know, is something you need in order to raid in the game.
Yeah. Raid Buff. Okay, and I'm Akea.
I'm Tennyson.
And we're going by our game names because they're much cooler than our RL names, I feel like, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I got a few compliments on my name at work the other day, but
That's so. Wait, your real name?
yeah.
Oh, I thought you told them your game name and you got
No.
compliments on it.
I don't think I've ever told anyone my game name.
Well, I've gotten compliments on my game name, but it was when I was using my game name in my first game, City of Heroes, because they let you add a bio in City of Heroes. So I added a bio to how I got my name, and someone read it, and they really liked it.
Someone read your bio.
But really, where I got my name is Akea means firstborn in Nigerian, and our youth minister had a daughter when I was in middle school, and he named her Akea, and I just liked how it sounded. I don't give a rip about anything else. I just like the name of the sound of it.
It's a great name. It flows well, and plus, I understand you have many variants of the name.
Oh, like that's if I name a new character, it'll be Akea something else. So
There you go. You don't even have to sit there. Like I'm one of those people who sits at the customer creation screen, and I like slave over a new name that's
No.
like fitting for my RP.
I wouldn't do such a thing. I just for 20 plus years now, it's just Akea. I have Akea Faria and Akea Lee. It can be anything.
I mean, I guess I have kind of adopted that. Like, I've got a mage on WoW that I named Tenadar instead of Tennyson.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great one because
Yeah.
isn't that your Draenei mage?
yes, Jedi.
It's
So
pretty good.
it fits really well with the RP and with my theme. So yeah, I don't even know how I came up with Tennyson. I think I hit like random generator so many times, and I hated all of the suggestions, and so I just started like typing stuff out, and so. I don't know.
I liked how it looked.
I liked how it looked. Good ratio of what is it? Consonants and vowels.
Yeah.
So
Are you a person that like hides
wow.
your nameplate or you see your nameplate?
I hide my nameplate. Yeah. It's way more immersive for me if I hide as much UI as I can.
I am the opposite. I don't hide it. I have my
You wear it loud and proud.
it's a Kathera and the Hallowed for a long time now. Oh, thank you so much. We're outside walking, so you may hear outside sounds.
We have to do so, otherwise we cannot do this podcast because our child
Yeah, we used to be just gamers.
is
Now
wild.
we're gamers and parents, which sucks as a combination, honestly.
There's some ups and downs, that's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, that's how we got the names, though. Tannison has been my main. If you need to know, he's a Blood Elf Paladin on WoW.
Oh, yeah, I guess
Since Wrath of the Lich King, that's, I'm one of those guys, so.
in my heart, I'm still a Night Elf Shadow Priest. However, I've been playing a Blood Elf Shadow Priest since I started raiding in Lich King.
For the Horde.
Honestly, I should probably say that I'm a Blood Elf, but I never, in my mind, I'm still Alliance, so. Oh.
I mean, honestly, I started off as Horde, and I was always Horde. And then we got together, and I spin an Alliance character. And I've probably played more Alliance at this point, at least sheer number of years having an account. So
certain parts of the story I will always think are better as Alliance, though there are certain parts that are better as Horde.
I'm still for the Horde. I think you got way better. I mean, we'll go over this probably throughout the lifetime of the podcast, but I've got scruples when it comes to character design and animation, and the Horde just takes the cake on all accounts when it comes to that.
Hardy disagree, but these aren't the only games that we've
got two completely wasted race slots with gnome and dwarf.
I mean, you don't ever really even need to play another race if you just have to play a Worgen and a Night Elf, but...
Oh, you playing Worgen too? See, I'm over here thinking that you've got basically just Night Elf, because, I mean, if you choose human... are you really a fantasy nerd?
But I am a Worgen, I'm a werewolf. That's high, well, it's not high fantasy, but it's some kind of fantasy.
It's there.
It's fantastic.
I'll give you that. I like the upgraded character model when it came out, so.
Yeah. Did you see them looking at us?
Yeah.
They're like,
you just gotta ignore those. You gotta ignore those things. We're never gonna see them again, so.
Yeah, or we'll have to do this every day, and we'll see them every day. And they'll be like, what are you guys doing? Why do you have microphones on your shirt?
I mean, the microphones are pretty
That's
obvious.
why I know that they were looking at us, because it's the microphones. It would be a normal conversation if not for the microphones.
Which we've had.
Yes. Okay, so we play other games also.
Yeah, plenty of other games. I mean, throughout the years, I've given up WoW for many different games. Well,
you take breaks.
You take breaks. Unfortunately for me, it was a lot of Call of Duty, and that was a mistake.
I don't know. There's been some great Call of Duties.
I mean, I had some great moments with friends, and that's what it's all about. But, if you play it, the mistake for Call of Duty is when you play it by yourself. Then you just hate your life.
I mostly play it by myself. Thank you very much. We've played many a campaign by myself.
Campaign's a little different. Campaign's great. Shout out to Modern Warfare 2, the original, and Black Ops 1. Best.
Call of Duty 2. I like the old wars. I like when I'm killing our old enemies. Nazis.
Yeah, good old Nazis. Never get tired of that.
Yeah. There have been some really great campaigns, and it's always fun to talk to someone so did you skip whichever part in the newest game that they ask if you want to skip because it's traumatizing or really
I don't know if
up.
that's happened since Modern Warfare 2. I think that's the only game where they have you shoot up
people who shouldn't be shut up.
It's pretty questionable, but
I mean, I didn't skip it. So
I'm story driven. I gotta know what happens.
But we're always playing. I think through the years, we're always either playing a college football or Madden as well.
Oh yeah, that's my kryptonite. College football. Before this year, they released College Football 25 because they, legality stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
I would play NCAA 13. We're talking a game so old, people don't even know what I'm talking about, probably.
my last Madden that I super loved was like Madden 11, I think, with Drew Brees on the cover.
Oh my goodness.
So
that was a good Madden, though. That
it was
a good
great
rendition.
Madden. I used to stomp.
I mean, you stomped me. We played Madden one time, and
One time, been married several years.
Therion won.
I'm a passer. I'm a quarterback at heart. I can't help these intuitions.
That's true. She does not like running the football. I have tried many times to describe why running is a positive thing, but I mean, she beat me not running. So I mean,
if I run the ball, it's because I accidentally pressed the wrong button.
Is that what happened the other day?
Yeah, that's what happened. Played college football 25, ran the ball, got a first down, and I was like, ugh, gross.
You got a first down.
I can't believe it. Disgusting. How did you catch me doing that?
Next play throws an interception. Like, still better than running the ball for a first down.
Oh, man.
What is that all about?
That is what happened, and that is so true.
Sports games, that's one thing. Like, a lot of people don't like sports games. I understand. I get it.
I don't understand.
But, you know, when you like sports games, you always have something to play if you can't decide what to play.
Yeah.
And that's been the story of my life for a long time, since, you know, being an adult and having responsibilities. You can play a quick half an hour Madden game and be happy, you know, so.
But there are so many, there obviously are as many sports games as there are sports, except for volleyball, to my knowledge.
I don't know any volleyball games, and I think that's a mistake. I think they're missing out.
And I think Haikyuu, the anime, is popular enough that they could do so.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Haikyuu is near and dear to our hearts. We'll probably discuss anime at some point as a main topic in this podcast, but let's just say Haikyuu, we love it.
Can't get enough of it. I mean, there is a limit to how much of it I can get because I prefer the dub.
In this instance, the dub is masterpiece. Like, they do such a good job dubbing it. It's like, I can't watch the sub and be like, man, this is as good as the dub.
Yeah, because I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading, which I love reading. That's not the issue. The issue is the words and the emotion that they say those words with. Like, I need my Hinata. I need my Kageyama.
And that's a fair point. But maybe they'll come out with a Haikyuu video game if they haven't already, but it's doubtful.
It is doubtful because the Attack on Titan one failed miserably, apparently.
I have no knowledge about what I thought. That was just like one of those social media things where, like, oh, I built, you know, Attack on Titan in Unreal Engine or something, and here it is, but it sucks. Maybe that is what happened. I don't know.
Maybe was just transitioning to our next topic. You and I build the official Attack on Titan game well after the final season's already aired.
Spoiler alert, we're building Attack on Titan.
Game.
Spoiler to my own mind. I didn't know that was our project. My goodness. But yeah, I mean, we've discussed for quite some time now building a business together, husband and wife.
And we've been racking our brain like, I don't know, do we want to embroider? Do we want to get a 3D printer? Do we want to do something completely else?
A lot of food industry stuff that we've considered.
Coffee stand, burger stand.
And while I do think a coffee stand would be phenomenal,
winemaking,
I just don't really see that as our endeavor, at least at this time. So
at least at this time, yeah. I want something to be excited about.
And we are excited, as you can tell, about video games. So our business will be opening a husband and wife game development studio, and we're working on our first project.
Yep.
Describe it a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm describing it, but really it's your brainchild. Inspired by WoW, at least a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. which might surprise a few people because it's inspired not by old WoW, but by kind of the newer takes on WoW, because they implemented in the expansion Dragonflight a new profession system. It's a lot more like in-depth. And a lot of people don't like it, but I myself, I like it because I'm a real big RP guy, and I think professions are something you got to be good at. So,
and it shouldn't just be like me click button, me get thing.
Yeah, and that's what it was for years, but they switched it up to be like, you've got to consider your quality of resources and materials, and gain knowledge in those regards. And that'll depend on what you make. So I thought that was really interesting. So I thought, why not just make a whole game about blacksmithing? That's kind of where that came from.
WoW, don't sue us. Blizz, don't sue us. Activision, don't sue us. But yes, blacksmithing.
Blacksmithing is not unique to World of Warcraft.
Certainly not. But what if you say, you inspired me, and then you go and do the thing? Can they sue you?
You never know these days, but yeah, I mean, that's the first idea. And blacksmithing, just to start off, it won't be like a super like comprehensive mega $1 million game, but it will be an indie game that we develop as our first title in our game studio.
Me clapping. Yeah. So,
and we're excited about it.
We're excited.
There's some different ways we can go about it, and we're excited to implement those ideas.
We're very, very early days right now. Right now, we're holding meetings about what platforms are we going to use. What platform are you going to use to code the game? What platform are you going to use to write the scripts?
Writing.
Artwork. Sound design. So we have a lot of options ahead of us, a lot of choices to make, a lot of testing, retesting, tutorials.
I mean, probably an amount of those things that is uncountable. So we have a truckload of work ahead of us, but I mean, we're just kind of letting the excitement carry us at this point. So,
oh yeah.
And we know, like, this is something we're super excited about because like we said a few minutes ago, we've racked our brains over what business could we actually start doing. And we've had great ideas and we just kind of sit on them and they fade away. But this one, it's kind of come to us.
It's taken hold.
And we've taken action. I think that's the difference. So
we actually wrote things down on a notepad and taped them to the wall.
Yeah.
So do we talk about our game studio name, or do we reveal it when we actually have some things to
like
show
official licensing or whatever of the name?
True. We got to also go on down to City Hall, make that thing official on paper, which I think we actually don't have to do any of that. We can do it online, but still.
Yeah, so
pay our $20.
I guess we can kind of hold off on the actual name. Yeah, but it is exciting, okay? We have a lot of potential and we're ready to turn it into kinetic energy. So.
Yeah, because actually our potential is not just having played a lot of video games throughout life and having not done a lot of other things to play those video games. You're a programmer, man.
Yeah, that is true, at least to some extent. I have a lot to learn. Game development is not technically what I went to school for, but it is what got my feet wet in the whole realm of development. So that's where I stand in that regard. And then, we're a tag team in this, so you're going to bring your expertise from your field into this. Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, I have the most useless degree one can have in English literature and language, but can write good, supposedly.
You write phenomenally. She has many short stories published on what's the website?
I mean, short stories like published in magazines, or short stories published on like fanfiction.net.
I mean, I read the fanfiction ones and I thought they were phenomenal. So fanfiction.net, that's where to go.
And also, Wattpad, I think.
Wattpad, that's the one. Those are the ones.
They'll never.
Anyway.
No. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you the name of the stories. That's the only way you can find them. They're not under a K. I think I'd put them under one of my writing names, which is the name of a Kurt Vonnegut book. Mother Night, I think, is my pen name.
Well, regardless if anybody finds them or not, but they're amazing. You do a great job writing. So she's our lead writer, and she is a genie at SEO, search engine optimization.
That's what pays the bills is marketing.
And marketing. So she's definitely very savvy on a lot of the sides, because like I know how to do the code and programming, but like I'm pretty bad at the rest, at least untested maybe at the rest. However, you also have experience on platforms like YouTube and stuff, so we've got a lot of advantages.
That's true. I mean, it's not, you make a YouTube video, you publish it, you have experience on YouTube. It's not super hard. But yes, we put these skills together. Prestige worldwide.
Prestige worldwide. That'll be delightful. Yeah, so we don't have any timelines or anything like that. The dream is just coming into fruition. We're taking action.
Yeah. The first timeline that we actually do have is to test all the platforms that we would potentially use by Saturday night. What is it? Wednesday night now? Wednesday night.
Yep.
By Saturday night, test them all, make decisions about what we will move forward with. I don't think these have to be set in stone. We shouldn't feel afraid to pivot.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, nothing's going to be beyond our price point to where, like, it'll feel like a total loss. So I think we'll be okay in that regard. Gaming is kind of what originally brought us even together as husband and wife. Back beyond time. No, I'm just kidding. We worked together, and that was before we were dating.
Before we even were talking to each other.
Yeah. We got two introverts on the microphone right now. That might surprise you. But we did not talk to each other, even though we both liked each other when we worked together.
Big crushes, I would say. Big crushes, small talk.
Overall, I knew that she played World of Warcraft.
I knew that you played World of Warcraft, I'd heard. Was
really phenomenal to me personally, because I had never really, none of my friends played WoW. I never really knew anyone that played WoW besides my sister and brother-in-law at the time.
I actually had known a ton of people that played WoW. So while I was super jazzed that you played WoW, I didn't think it was enough to start a conversation because so many people at work played WoW.
I didn't know that, but for me, if you had come up to me and started talking about WoW, that would have been a dream come true for me. I could have talked about it all day. It is the perfect conversation starter. But like I said,
we were young.
I was very young at the time, and
I could be young also.
Very socially awkward. Still got some stuff to learn. And then years later, we connected over social media platform and just talked about video games, and that was kind of where it all went.
Yeah, which was great. Because I usually didn't post about me playing video games, much less playing WoW, but I just got a wild hair. Posted about playing WoW, you responded, and we just never stopped talking.
Never stopped talking, and by golly, that led to a marriage.
And a
child.
Oh, that's nuts.
And ultimately, this podcast.
And ultimately, this podcast. Our second child. Okay. Your favorite moment in WoW, is it PvP or is it PvE?
I've just got to go back to PvE Lich King days.
Oh, yeah.
I was, this is the first MMO I played, and by far the best. And I had a great guild, and I don't know why my parents allowed this. I would stay up to 3 or 4 a.m. on weekdays doing raid night.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal. But I was such a drama king back then. Like, I remember one time, this isn't maybe my favorite memory, but it's just indicative of the times for me. I just wanted attention. So I pretended to be AFK. And in Ventrilo, I just heard everybody talking about, like, when's Tennyson going to get back?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Come on, let's do this thing. And I just waited and waited. It's just so toxic. I'm just realizing.
It's not like you didn't get, well, maybe it is like you didn't get attention because you have several siblings, but so maybe you feel like you got lost in the shuffle?
Perhaps, but eventually what happened is they kicked me from the raid. And I came back as soon as they kicked me, and I was pissed. I was like, why would you get rid of me? I had a big ego too, so I was like, I'm the number 1 DPS. Like, what are we doing? You know,
we're kicking people who are AFK. We're not ready to go.
I don't know. That's insanity. I don't know. That's like master manipulation at like a very young age.
But it's immature also. So you have that going for you.
That was some Ice Crown Citadel 10-man, so it was a small group. It's good times.
Great times. Lich King also was my favorite time because senior year in high school, so I was doing like the college thing as my senior year, so I pretty much did nothing all day, every day, but get on WoW. And so I had enough time to do PvE to the max and PvP to the max. That's the time I had the most amount of alts, the most amount going on. I applied actually the year before to get into a guild. I sent in a resume online. A resume. I had a interview that was over the phone. I don't even know if Zoom was a thing back then, but like definitely wasn't a video.
What did they ask you in this interview? This is blowing my mind.
They asked me how I chose my talent. They asked me how long I've been playing, what nights I was free. They asked me what rotation I used for my main, my Shadow Priest, for PvP and for PvE. So I just listed out what my rotations were. And because everyone, I feel like maybe just my guild leaders, but to me at the time, it felt like everyone knew what the best rotation was for every character. I studied everything on Wowhead beforehand and then went to the interview. And I got in. And I was not the main healer, not surprising, at least not to me, because I felt like a young person among all these adults that were so good and so professional at WoW that I had to meet them and match them in their professionalism. So I was not the main healer. I was a off healer, off tank healer, raid healer, depending on what character I was rolling. My most proud and memorable moment from WoW at the time wasn't even in WoW. It was doing well in that interview.
Oh my goodness.
I had my papers in front of me that I printed out from Wowhead, so I'd have everything at my hands so I could look at everything, look at the talent trees, look at what my secondary character was, which was Druid at the time.
That matters?
Oh, because when you invite a person to your guild, especially at the time, you're not just inviting one character, you're inviting several characters. You need to know
that's a fair point.
They fit into the ecosystem of the raiding, of the PvP.
Because there's not just the primary raid group, there's the alt raid group.
There's the alt raid.
We also had that, and I rolled that with my Death Knight, but not for very much. Like, I mostly spent my time on my main at that time.
And I was very, very into PvP. Now, I don't think that we were, in the grand scope of things, I don't think we were ever really close to like the international PvP competitions where now they like are on TV doing that thing. I don't think we were close, but back then, I felt like we were pretty close.
I mean, things felt grander back then. You didn't really feel like such a weeb because nowadays you get into a group and they're like, you can't do this dungeon in 30 seconds. Like, what are you even doing here, bro? Get out of my lobby.
And while at the time, even people expected you to watch all of the fights, now I don't have time for that. I can't watch every single fight. So the expectation, I feel like, is the same, but I just fail a little bit more at it.
Yeah, and to put it into perspective, like playing WoW today, I don't do anything like raiding, Mythic Plus, like all the stuff that's popular right now. I just do solo stuff. In the new expansion, they have delves, perfect for solo content. I will do Raid Finder every once in a while just because I like it, but outside of that, I'm not doing organized raids or certainly not Mythic Plus. Too sweaty. I'm just trying to enjoy my life.
Yeah, I don't have the time to be somewhere Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, even though I don't live in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, so I mean, now I basically just like spend time on my alts and professions, and that's about it for the modern world. I think that's why it's just so special that I had those experiences back in Lich King.
Yeah.
Because that expansion alone, after when Kata came out, I didn't drop it because Kata sucked. I just dropped it because that was just my chapter of life.
Yeah.
I was ready to move on.
Mine is a little different. I was going into the military, so I played as much as I could of Kata, but eventually, ship out, you ship out. So put a kibosh on that.
So really, like, that's where the serious portion of like raiding and PvP. I had a pretty sweet arena team. I was always Ret Pally, but I had a nice build back then where I was a tank Pally, and I kind of spec'd it out to where I would actually also do damage. So I had a nice teammate who was a warlock, and we really did a lot of damage. We did prop Pally warlock. I think I also had like a prop Pally or a Ret Pally warrior, and we would just burst damage. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That
I told you about the wizard sleeve that we would run of Disc Priest, Warlock, and Mage. I also ran with a Rogue and a Warrior while being on my Priest, being on my Druid, doing Rogue Warrior. It's just great times. Oh, we did an all-plate team of Paladin, Death Knight, Warrior. Not as the survivability is not what you would expect, honestly. At least back then.
It's like kill them fast, right?
Yes.
You target the healer and you kill them. Or either, really, because, a healer can only heal for so much. But, so that's where that peaked. And then, I don't remember. See, I played Kata a little bit. I played Cataclysm only briefly. I never did any of those raids.
Oh, yeah. By the time I was getting back into Kata, like by the time I got my laptop back and everything, people were like fighting the toes of Deathwing. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh. Hindsight, the little of Kata I played, I enjoyed it. I re-rolled during that time just so I could experience Azeroth again with the whole revamp. And I enjoyed that time. And it kind of made me fall in love with leveling. So I started re-rolling after every expansion.
I still
when
like
Mr.
leveling.
Pandaria came out, I switched to Warrior. And then I'll leave from there. It was just basically everything under the sun.
Mop hated at the time, probably because of the Kung Fu Panda movie. I felt like WoW was trying to do a thing that I wasn't really a fan of. But love Mop now. Really sad that I trashed it so much in the forums.
Yeah, truly. When you look back in time, like Mists of Pandaria was a beautiful expansion. I actually like the theme. I have a panda character. Don't hate me, but I have a Panda Death Knight. My thinking was, what's the most unlikely thing you see across the WoW world? And
Panda Death Knight.
it actually works out, it's pretty cool looking.
What's your RP for choosing a Panda Death Knight?
Oh man, so I had one at the time. I'm not. I mean, his name is solid. Egress Bjorn was pretty sweet, but
Pretty great.
I truly had something sweet back then, but I cannot remember it now. All I know is the animations with the panda and the Death Knight combined, like they just work. Just yeah, the way they hold the sword like a kung fu panda, like it's pretty cool and unique, and I appreciate that. So
Nice. Well, how about other types of games where it could be, the big word now is roguelike, roguelite.
I don't even know what the heck.
I just say Diablo.
Yeah.
I just say Diablo style.
But I don't know if that's right, though.
I don't know if it's
'cause
right
That
either.
was always a dungeon crawler.
But
Or,
I only
MMO.
talk to you, so it doesn't matter that much about
Yeah.
right or wrong.
I don't know if I have
He's awake.
any roguelike games that I play, to be honest.
No, I mean, a game that I love, games that I love with all my heart, but I just don't really play them that much. I'll watch the video online ad nauseum, but Mortal Kombat. It's
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
greatest things in my life.
You guys are listening to
poster
a
in our
total Mortal Kombat nerd. I didn't think anybody was like this, but like she knows the storyline in and out, all the characters. She even wants to write Mortal Kombat fan fiction, and I'm like,
I started a couple pieces.
I thought it was just a fighting game.
So how some people like The Legend of Zelda and like that mythology. I love Mortal Kombat, and I think it's one of the best written stories of all stories.
Wow. Even with all the time messing around
Even
stuff.
with all that's part of the fun. Like time, what is time? We could be in a flat circle right now for all I know.
I guess they really just make it so there's no rules, I feel like, in the Mortal Kombat
No.
storyline. So like they just do what they want. I do respect that. And they make it work. Okay. They've got great I love that they take the time to animate these like a movie
Yes,
in the games.
I love that.
I really wish they would do that in more games. But overall, you know, I watched quite a few hours of that with you, and I gotta say, they do a good job.
Thank you. So, what's your Mortal Kombat? The game that's not WoW, but that you just love with all your heart.
I don't know if I watch a whole lot of extracurricular stuff. I would say the game that I've done that the most with is the old Knights of the Old Republic 2
Oh,
Sith
yeah.
Lords game.
Oh, yes.
We're talking Kreia,
Our secondary connection,
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Like I think when we first started talking, it was like Star Wars Battlefront and
Yeah,
all that sort of
Battlefront
stuff.
2.
And that really also helped us become soulmates. I mean, we always were, but us
But
realize it.
we're like, no, you like this too? I like this game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I just love the writing in Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Yes.
Kreia's philosophy. It's just so intriguing to me because it just goes so in depth as to like what is a Jedi, what is a Sith, what does that mean not only for those factions but like the galaxy.
Yeah, for the
what's
whole
the everyday civilian of the Star Wars universe experiencing with these crazy powers
Absolutely.
that Sith and Jedi have?
Yeah.
And I just thought that for a rushed game, because the deadline for Obsidian was like way too soon, they had to get it out. I think they crushed it. Maybe
Can't
like
agree more.
you build diamonds from pressure, and I think that was an example of that.
Well, I think we have heard stories over the year that these game studios, it is pressure and people do hate their life. So,
Oh yeah.
well, that's unfortunate. The game just couldn't be better.
Welcome to our new life as we start a game studio.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to blizz you and sexually harass you.
Oh jeez.
They'll probably be wanted, but that'll be the difference.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like.
Well, there might be some truth to that. I'm just talking about how much we're going to work.
Oh, yeah, sure, that
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Sure. I'm on that same page with you, bud.
Nowadays, like, I mean, we're blessed because we live in this era where like we can market what we're doing through so many platforms.
Yes.
And while that is a blessing, it also means a ton of extra work outside of development.
Yes, it does.
And I recognize that, but I'm excited for it. Working together as a team.
I think it'll hold us accountable. It'll keep us accountable to the timeline that we state and to the goals that we set for ourselves. Or no one will listen. I can just keep doing whatever I want forever.
Or it'll all deteriorate down to marital squabbles, and people just watch us and listen to us like
divorce?
90 Day Fiance.
Oh gosh.
That's what they say. Don't go into business with your partner. But I mean, I couldn't think of anyone else I would rather be in business with.
They don't say don't go into business with your soulmate.
And there it is.
There it is.
A lot of people don't get the privilege of knowing their soulmate, and I think that's a tragedy because
we have a great time.
Being with your soulmate is a whole game changer.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier about it.
Babe.
Oh,
That's so sweet.
getting all sappy.
Well, I actually don't know of a better way to end this whole thing. If you don't want to end it, just let me know.
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right, so
Coming up on dusk.
I'm not lying. So that would be the first episode of Raid Buff.
Raid Buff 1.0.
1.0. Raid Buff Episode 1. Paragraph
Titled.
1.
I've been thinking. Anyway.
Well, yeah, we do actually have to title the episode when we put it into things.
And it will be
Origin story?
Origin story. Character creation.
Character creation screen. I love it.
That's perfect.
That's why you're the best.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.